So at the moment, lots of you are looking for options for keep fit while staying at home, and especially if you've got kids, you probably want to keep those games a little bit fun. So here we've got a few options for games that you can play, suitable for kids, suitable for adults. You can develop your strength, your coordination, your agility, and your hand-eye coordination as well. So, first game is a squat-based game. So my assistant Joe, I'm going to put one ball away. So you can play this in pairs, you can play this on your own if you're really, really keen. But the rules are you can't move your feet, and you're trying to catch the ball as low to the ground after the first bounce as possible. So chuck the ball up, Jay, and catch it low to the ground. And again, like that. So as you can see, in order to do that, I have to get into something of a squat, and it's going to vary a little bit based on where Joe drops the ball. To add a little bit extra challenge in, you can go to just a single arm catch, so check it up, single arm catch. If you want to get a bit more agility into the game, then what you can do is start throwing it a bit more sideways, and you can open up the rules to allow one foot to move at a time. So now it becomes a bit more of a lunge than a squat. And then if we want to get really hectic, we can have two balls in play, and then you can start to try and build up a bit of a flow. So if I do this one for you, Jay, so to the side. The moment the ball hits the ground, throw the next one. And see what sort of a flow you can put together. Genuinely barely practiced this. This is pretty good, Jay. Like that. There we go. If we want to work a little bit on upper body strength, this one's maybe a little bit tough for the young ones, but we get down on all fours. Don't have to be in a strict all fours position. If this is tough, bring your knees a bit higher, put your bum up higher in the ground, and then same again. We're going to throw one ball up into the air, catch it on the bounce, and, and catch it with the opposite hand each time. So you're trying to swap. Doing a great job here. A little bit. Throw it up a little bit, Jerry. Sorry. So up, good, up, up, up. Perfect. Well done. So you get the idea. Next game. Traditional limbo or non-traditional limbo. So there's 3 stages you can play with this. If you've got sore knees or a sore lower back, maybe you don't want to do stage 1, which is just your traditional limbo like this. Requires a lot of strength, requires a lot of mobility. Alternatively, or as we go lower, you can just bring in a normal squat. So you can start going through like that. You'd be surprised how low you can take that. Go even lower, and it can become a real challenge on leg strength and mobility to get through. Final stage, if we go low again, up a little bit, Joe, give me a chance, a bit more. It's just a crawl. So coming through like this. So go one more, a little bit lower. So you can make this pretty tough as well. Obviously upper body strength implied with that. Rules are your elbows and your knees cannot touch the ground. If you want to make that competitive, then from the start you can say 3 points for traditional limbo, 2 points for squatting under, and just 1 point for the crawl. And then the person with the highest total obviously wins. Next game is a variation on twister. So I'm going to start on all fours. My partner's going to indicate a spot on the floor, and that's where my first hand's going to go. Every time I move one hand, I can move the opposite foot to make it more easy. So the next is going to be for my left hand. So, move my foot. Here's for my right hand. I can move my left leg. You can get a bit creative with this. This one's for my left hand, so I can move my right foot. That. Last one. Left foot. Like that. Your goal is to tie your partner up in knots. It can become really difficult. You can get into some crazy positions, and there's also lots of movement options. So sometimes you can tie someone up in the corner and they can still get out of it just by doing like a bit of a flip over like that or something along those lines. So a bit of creativity implied as well. Another game that you can play for sporty children is a variation on charades. So you can do this with any genre, but I obviously have chosen a ton of sports. Here I've got a pile of 40 or 50 different sports that I've typed out and printed out, and one person's going to select a sport from the pile, and I'm going to act it out, and the next person's going to guess. Okay, let's see it. Okay, so...
cycling, racing, BMXing.
BMXing, next one.
Hockey.
Yeah, next one. Okay.
High jump.
Yes! Okay.
Cricket.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Diving. Gymnastics. Or is that the hobby horse? Horse. I have no idea. Absolutely none.
We'll pass on that one.
What was it?
Trampolining.
Oh, what?
Okay.
Fencing.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, see if Joe can get this one.
Lacrosse.
Well done, good. Cool, okay.
Rugby. Dodgeball.
We'll call this the last one.
Shot put. No, that's the other one. What is it called? Hammer throw.
Yes. Well done. So that's that variation of the game. The next variation of the game is going to involve two people. So you're going to guess them now. Okay, so I'm going to select one at random, genuinely random, and I'm going to put my assistant, who doesn't know what the sport is, into the position to allow you to guess. Okay, so I'm going to show it to the camera. Don't you look? Don't look.
Shut your eyes, Jackie.
Hope that's on the screen. Okay.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
Excuse me. Snooker.
Got it in one. We'll do one more. We'll do one more.
I think you're gonna have to trim that one.
Okay, okay. So look away. Right.
Now. Hands out your pockets, Joe.
Golf.
Well done. So, you get the idea. Two different variations, loads of different sports. Doesn't have to be sports, but that's the way that I like to do it. Keeps sporty children thinking about their sports, gets them thinking about the different movements involved as well. If you want the list of all the sports that I've got, like I said, I've got 40 or 50. Google's a good place to start, but I've got a sheet ready for you to print out if you want, so just get in touch. Two variations on a classic game you can play to work on your mobility, work on your strength at home. You're going to use a cereal box. I'm using a Wheatos box. I don't actually think any other brands are available, who knows. So that goes on the floor, and pretty simple rules. Hands behind the back, you're picking it up with your mouth, your knees can't touch the ground. Bend down, flip it up, like that, fantastic. That's the mobility version. Obviously, as everyone becomes successful, if you play it in a group and you go around one by one, as they are successful, you just take a strip off the top and make it lower to the ground. The strength version, so you can play this at the same time if you want, is to do it on one leg. Same rules apply. Generally, I let people use their hands freely, as long as they don't use it to touch the box or touch the ground. Down on one leg, and flip it up. As always, every time I've ever played this game with the group, it's very surprising to every individual how far down they can get as they do this game. So it might look really difficult, but you can usually get a few rounds further than you think. Enjoy.